Okay, welcome to Free Association. We have sound, so that's good. It's 1:30 a.m. on Sunday, the 3rd of August. I'm tempted to say April, but I'm going to say August because it's actually August. So it's late in the evening, well, very late at night, really. I was asleep until midnight, been awake for an hour or so now. Thought I would normally have done my podcast at about 8 o'clock, but I fell asleep, so it's become 1:30. I don't know if there's anybody around. There might be somebody around to have a conversation with. I don't know. We'll find out along the way. I'll stay for 5 minutes or so, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure I can ramble for 5 minutes. All right. I was thinking about the rules for philosophy groups, and there aren't many rules for philosophy groups, but courtesy is kind of one of them. Polite communication. So it has to be. Well, it doesn't have to be anything, but if you want the conversation to flow properly, then it has to be polite, respectful. I don't think that's even an issue, that it ought to be those two things. It sometimes isn't, but that's just the way it is. I mean, people insult each other without really trying in philosophy. It seems to be one of those things. It goes from metaphysics to people very quickly, so it goes from metaphysics to psychology very quickly in a conversation. Or it goes from people to metaphysics very quickly, depending on which direction people want to move it. But it's all called philosophy in the groups that I'm in anyway. So we were talking about Melanie Klein this afternoon, which is childhood development stages, and it came from my paranoia, basically. It's a conversation about my lack of personal development when I was a small child, but it was disguised. Well, that's basically what they were talking about. So I don't really mind. I don't take it as insulting, but it's just something to take on board and think about. Because if I am paranoid, then that obviously affects everything I say and everything I do. Somewhere down the line, it may not always affect the thing that I'm saying or the thing that I'm doing, but it will some of the time. And I don't really want to be paranoid. If I've got a choice, I would choose not to be. So that's a step in the right direction, I suppose. So my aim is to be not paranoid and to be the next stage of whatever that childhood development stage is, or is it neurotic? It's the next stage, so I'd rather be neurotic than paranoid. And then I can move on to whatever the next stage is. I don't know what the next stage is after that. I'll have to look it all up. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where people use the words but don't really define the words in these groups that I'm in. So you can take it as an insult if you want to, but it isn't really an insult. It's just it's a psychological term that's used specifically in a particular situation. So yeah, it's all good, really. But I find it a little bit irritating that I'm the only one that'll be pointed out as paranoid, and then everybody else comes out as paranoid as well. So I'm having to sacrifice myself to move the group forward, which is interesting because I always kind of have to do that. So you see, like using me as an example brings everything else out in everybody else. Because that's just how the group functions. But some weeks I don't want to be used. I don't want to be the one who's sacrificed to move things on. Some weeks I'll do it and go along with it. Some weeks I just won't. But it is what it is. I am defended in these groups because it's been confrontational situations in the past. It's been accusatory situations where I've been accused of things that I didn't do, really. It causes me grief, for want of a better phrase. It causes me anxiety. I don't like being accused of things that I'm not doing. And there's no real need for it. It was just a psychopathic person in a group that shouldn't really have psychopaths in it. But it is what it is. It was one of those situations. It's 5, 6, 7 years ago now. So I should be able to let it go, really, but it's because it's the same group of people, and there wasn't a lot of personal support coming from any of them. So I know that they're not going to back me up in anything I say, which makes it a bit of a challenge to really be bothered to say anything or even be there, because I know from experience that they won't back me up. They'll pull it apart. Whatever it is I say, they'll pull it apart. And I do the same thing to them, so I can't really complain too much. That's part of how the group functions. So we just got to accept it, and accept that there's going to be critique of your ideas, and there's going to be challenge. Things are going to be challenged. So that's all I wanted to say, really. It's nobody's come into the room, so I don't think anything's going to happen in terms of conversation. So it's just me rambling, and I don't want to do that forever. So I shall close it down now. I'll see you next time. And the room won't close, so that's typical. So what's going on with this? It's some kind of technical hitch with Podbean, I think. I don't think it's my phone. Oh, I'll tell you what it is. Because they changed where they put the yes and the no on the exit dialog. That's where it is.